Hi, Zizaran here, and this is going to be a fairly min-maxed video on my explosive arrow champion. A lot of you have been waiting for this and asking if I will make a min-maxed version, and I have done that now. So here you have it. This is going to be less hand-holdy than my normal guides because, well, first of all, you have the normal explosive arrow guide. And if you really need super hand-holding to do a build that does this many divines, I would be worried that you're dual-wielding credit cards. So, without further ado, let's just crack into it. So this is Zizaran bad. I felt bad after dying to Uber Elder because that was my first time really dying to it. So let's go over the gear and what I've done differently. The gem setups and everything is fairly different. And yeah, this is a very expensive build. On hardcore trade, we don't have access to buy everything. So it's probably a lot cheaper on softcore, but it's been somewhere between 60 to 100 divines on hardcore. First, let's talk about the bow. I don't know if by the time you're seeing this, the video by Scribe might already have been posted for how to create an explosive arrow bow, like the expensive one. But yeah, they're pretty straightforward. They do cost a decent amount of divines. I'm working on a second one now, so I'm saving up 20,000 yellow juice. And then I'm going to do the augment speed with prefixes cannot be changed, and that'll guarantee speed. Hopefully I hit 19%. I'm basically working on a bow that somebody actually might mirror on hardcore. Like I said in previous videos, we don't get perfect items on hardcore. We only get like 90th percent. The only thing that I would really want would be +1 support gems. However, that is also less necessary now that Empower sort of got nerfed this league. Some people are like, question mark. I talk about the fact that you can get so many more gem levels other places now. So for example, I don't even know if it's a damage boost over elemental damage. The only thing I could do to get a big damage boost would be Awaken Deadly Elements, which is pretty hard for me to fit, but I am leveling one in case I manage to fit it. I just don't know where I'm going to get the extra minus mana to replace Inspiration. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to hit it by level 100. Like, a little bit more mana might help. It's a tough one, so we'll see. But either way, so I have this nice bow, and then I have dropped the minion stuff. As you can see, I'm using attack speed while rare or unique enemies nearby instead. And normally that's not good enough, but I managed to get so much attack speed, and we're using Malevolence, that it is probably fine. So I think I had a 247 attack speed, and then our fuse timer is like 1.4, and then 6 totems +1, so I should have 22 fuses in fights, which is nice. It's obviously nice to have overkill in case your totem is ever down. And then I have the fire damage implicit, which is honestly pretty great. I just wish the suffixes were a little better. Like 16 attack speed would be very nice. And we'd also be hitting 20 fuses without Malevolence. The gloves, they're good enough. They could be better, but I have such a hard time rolling the implicits this league that I don't know if I have it in me to make a better glove. And even if I got tier 1 spell suppression, it doesn't save me a point. It does let me tattoo a dex node though. So I guess that's actually maybe kind of worth it. I actually only need 1% more. Wait, I could divine my gloves and tattoo a dex node. Okay, I might consider that. See, making this video is helping improve my build. Guardian Dawn, the only thing that can be improved here is double corrupting it. You could hit things like Determination, Grace, Purity of Elements, and Malevolence Aura Effect. You could hit All Res, you could hit Movement Speed. I think you can hit Attack Speed or Damage. But there's quite a lot of good corruptions. The rings, these I've done like Essence of Delirium. And then when I hit my suffixes, I would use a... I have a lot of these for sale. Hardcore players. I would use a Wild Bristle Matron, and this forces suffixes cannot be changed onto it, which saves you, well, I mean, if you have them, it saves you 2 divines, and they usually cost anywhere between 1 and 2 divines. And then I just did Veiled Chaos Orb for that ring. This one, I did tier 1, so Deafening Dex Essence until I hit any tier 1 res. I hit Lightning. And then I switched it with the Harvest Bench. And then I did the same thing, but I did stuff, Reforged Life. Well, first I tried Veiled. Because I was hoping to get to hit a natural life roll with a Veiled Chaos Orb, and then unveil reduced mana percentage with mana. That would have been the best in slot, because that would have let me use Awakened Deadly Elements, I'm pretty sure. My boots, I surprisingly want to change because they're basically perfect, but not for this build. So I'm already running Purity of Elements now, which we'll go over later. But these boots can be element immune freeze, which means they're, to the right person, worth anywhere like 10 to 20 divines, right? These are borderline perfect boots, but I'm already ailment immune from Pure of Elements, so it feels kind of wasted, and I'd rather have some sort of nice crafted prefix like life regen, and I would love to have more life. For the quiver, now some people will be like, why don't you have a hunter quiver? We are very tight on rest now, right? Like I don't want 75. This is fine that curses don't fuck me up and exposure doesn't fuck me up. And yeah, I literally can't do a double dot multi quiver, and they're a pain to make anyway. Now, this is one of the things that actually would affect the build a lot if it was better. If this was like even close to 15% restoration or 15% attributes, I could fit more tattoos and I would have an easier time with the reservation. So really, really good. This is pretty much best in slot. Other alternatives are ashes aren't too bad. I feel like with ashes, you would need to get rid of combustion with all the extra quality you get. And I would probably still keep explosive arrow to 20% and focus on getting rid of maybe this cluster. Not 100% sure, but I'd be looking to get rid of other sources of ignite chance to get more damage. There are lots of nice damage things we have. We do have dirty technique, and we do have acrimony that we can get rid of as well. So there are loads of options here, and most of my trees tattooed. We'll go over that in a sec. I'm just gonna do my last few gear pieces. And then I have a int fractured helmet here. A lot of people were like, why are you going for int fractured? It's like, well, it's to tattoo all of my int nodes. And then I used loathing essences until I hit tier 3 or higher on suppression. Turns out I did actually need tier 2 and I needed to divine it perfectly. And I still needed to take one suppression node here. But I'm very happy I was able to suppress cap with a brass dome. So I have 80, 79, 79. The 80 is from this one. And suppression capped. And without potions up, 35k armor, 20,000 evasion. So most things are a bit of a breeze. And because I'm ailment immune, I'm able to use our Kali for reduced damage taken over time. I would quite like less damage taken from damage over time here. That'd be very nice as well. But yeah, pretty nice helmet. I will be re-rolling this because I would like +1 gems. +1 AoE gems. Now, ideally I want +2 AoE gems. So what I might do is a shit ton of re-rolling. It's just, I can't be bothered. The case of like the suffixes breaking, like they're such a pain. It would be such a pain if it breaks because it's deafening loading each time. And you know, they're not too expensive. They're like between 3 and 6 KLs each, but it adds up. The implicits were a little bit annoying because normally what I want to do when I'm elevating something is I want to imprint it. But seeing as I have a fractured thing, you can't imprint fractured gear, which is very annoying. So I just had to YOLO it, and after 3 or 4, I managed to get it up to exceptional, which is what I needed. Because yeah, as you can see, we will get higher mana when I'm level 100. But at like level 95, 94, I really needed that extra percent. I almost wanted to divine this perfectly. And then I went for the explosive arrow enchant has speed. This is thankfully interchangeable. You can also use purity of elements or determination reservation. You cannot use grace or malevolence because we switched those. But what I could do is I'm using this instead of the reservation enchant. It looked like it was about the same. And I could drop this for attack speed that the helmet makes up for. Next up, let's look at my tattoos and my tree. And this character is called Zizaran Bad. If you ever want to import it, it probably wouldn't have changed too much. Reservation, 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 chaos res. Reservation, chaos res. Can't do this one. I'm actually 2 decks short, but not only am I 2 decks short, removing that dex will also mess up my Mage Bane. So I did try playing around with like attribute tattoos, and I just can't do it right now. If I divine my gloves, then I could. Reservation, max life, especially good because strength does not give us life. Reservation, life. Another dex node, sadly. Suppression. And we're getting to 4 suppression. I'm using Warrior's Tale. 100% increased effective tattoos in the area. So all of these are 4% suppression. And this is 2% reservation. This one is the Romako Makanga, and that gives it 2 projectiles. So this setup is instead of my Rain of Splinters. It was also a lot cheaper when I was doing this on hardcore, and I was like, why is nobody else doing this? This was 1 divine or 2, and this was 60 chaos. And then I was like, this is a third of the price of Rain of Splinters and better in every single way. And honestly, again, I really want to start exaggerating this or emphasizing this because I don't understand why Rain of Splinters is 10 divines for a bad roll. But you don't need Rain of Splinters. First off, it does not give you more damage. It just gives you more clear, so it's nice. But a Dying Sun achieves the same job. So early on, I was like, man, I kind of want better clear. But then 2 cards of the Dying Sun total for a 50C. I was like, okay. I mean, there's my clear. So that was happy. So to make this thing work, we do have that one, and that one need to be allocated no matter what. So this one, wasted. Yeah, this one's +1 max fire res. Other than that, suppression, reservation, and chaos res. So I am 75% chaos res, and I have this nice jewel. I should divine this at some point. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It's only 1 damage, but I have 10 million damage already. 12 if you're including the hit, and our hit is pretty sizable. Our explosion is like 1 or 2 million damage, and this is really, really nice. It feels amazing for Sanctum and mapping in general, but it particularly feels nice for like the pesky Ignite and Fire Immune monsters. So very, very good for those, and that is part of the reason why I'm not using Awaken Deadly Elements, even though it is 600 or 900,000 more damage, it will reduce my hit to a measly 300,000. Flasks, I'm using these. Honestly, they could be better. They're not optimized right now. They could be better like prefix and suffix. For bosses, I usually switch out my Jade. And for Sanctum, I wear an additional Quicksilver. And I switch out my Levelance with Grace for bossing. I've automated my Mana Forged Arrow setup. Sorry, my Frenzy setup. I don't know if I like it because it's weird not being able to cull when I want to, and I have to like place a totem to cull. Now, it has life tap on it, which means it has 0 mana cost, so every time I attack with my explosive arrow, which does cost mana, it casts. So I quite like that. Without life tap to save a gem, then it's like every 3 or something, which still keeps Frenzy up, but less reliable for cull. I have Arcanist Brand, Flammability, Flame Surge, and Flame Dash. And then Molten Shell, Skitterbots, Cast No Mistaken, Defiance Banner, Blink Arrow, and Second Wind. I could also free up another gem slot, but instead of getting Second Wind, I could get Phantasmal Blink Arrow. Has like quality, that's +1. My helmet is Grace, Purity of Elements, Enlighten, and Determination. That's pretty cool. So I did hit an Enlighten level 4 on my first try. Enlighten level 3 would be so much harder to fit. I probably wouldn't have been able to fit Defiance Banner. You can see that it's very, very exact with how much reservation I have here. And you could do a +2 Amulet too, I think. But then you might need another reservation node somewhere, or drop Skitterbots or Defiance Banner. Like right now I'm running Purity, Skitterbots, Defiance Banner, Grace, and Determination all at the same time. It takes a lot of reservation to make that happen. I have level 29 Explosive Arrow without Empower. So Empower instead of most things actually isn't better. I would need a level 5 Empower for it to be worth it. And that's like expensive. So it's like only 1 million damage. And the reason Empower got nerfed is just because we get +1 dex stat too. And I have another +1 here. So the higher you get, kind of diminishing return. I have Awakened Burning damage and Awakened Elden damage with attacks. Some people are going to be like, why aren't you corrupting them? They actually don't benefit. Quality would help a little bit. But a level wouldn't, because the next breakpoint is level 8, I believe, to get damage. So, since we have +1 from the bow already, that's whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I finally got a Ballista Totem level 21 as well, which was really nice. I'm a little bit more tanky. I have a Watcher's Eye with damage over time multiplier. This gets a lot of questions, because people are like, why are you using this when you're not using Malevolence? But I'm using that every time I need damage. Do I have one more jewel? Yes, I have Sleepless Sentries. So this is quite nice. It gives me onslaught and it gives me placement speed and damage. So quite happy with that. And then I have an Enduring Composure that gives me endurance charges for mapping and for bosses where I'm getting hit. That's pretty much everything. I don't think I'll be changing much or min-maxing much on this more. The only thing I thought about instead was maybe doing a Zebakwa setup with 4th WoW. But I don't know. I think I prefer that more in Juggernauts than Champions. It's a tough one, really. I do have another Jug, which is tankier than this, but less damage. It's half the damage. It's 5 or 6 million, maybe 7. It's called Zizaran Uber. But yeah, this is pretty much everything. You could also look into getting accuracy and getting inspirational. This would be really, really good when we're running this many auras. Because it's a lot of, it's 35% aura effect. And it's not the worst idea looking into aura effect tattoos either. But yeah, this is my explosive arrow. Once I get the scorch on boots, and I am looking into getting reduced effect of like attacking because I kind of want to remove inspiration for deadly ailments. Like then I think it would be worth it. But if I remember right, that puts the mana cost at 16 and I believe it's 10 if I have reduced mana cost, and I would need a fairly high tier one. It's a bit of an issue to fix. Normally I would get 5% reduced mana on a jewel, but I'm kind of full on jewels. So it's a tough one if I want to cast it fast. It's a tight build. It's a very tight build. That's pretty much it so far. I hope you guys enjoy the min-max explosive arrow. Thanks for watching. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.